Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and a few of the more astute of you may have noticed that something is amiss, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Let me know if you work out what's changed. Now, obviously, at the time of recording this, about an hour ago or so, I did a very quick video saying that the SNP had a poll, and it was that they were ahead of Labour in this poll. And it was obviously a load of rubbish, right? It was a poll collected and done by The National, which is basically the publishing arm of the SNP. And it therefore is rubbish. You can't believe a word of it, and I urge you not to. Because there has been a proper poll conducted by grown-ups. And it says that the SNP are likely to fall. Well, it's, I think, possibly the first time I've ever said this, where a poll has said that they're likely to get to single figures. I've maintained it's possible. I've maintained all along it's possible for them to get to single figures because of tactical voting. And that, of course, is down to you good people. So remember, with less than, 22 hours now, 21 hours to go until the polls open. First of all, make sure you vote. Don't be complacent. Get your ass off that chair and get down there. And secondly, vote tactically. Doesn't matter who you're voting for. Remember who you're voting against. Get them out and we can utterly destroy the SNP. Let's have a look at this poll because it'll put a smile on your face and hopefully you'll give me a thumbs up on the video, and if you're yet to subscribe. So John Swinney could suffer horror general election and plunge to just 9 seats in Scotland according to a mega poll. Now, I've been saying all along, of course, that it could do this. They being the mainstream media, are finally starting to pick up on it. It is an astonishing thing, and I think 9 is probably 8 too many. We could push them into extinction. It's entirely possible, and it needs to happen. For heaven's sake, vote. The First Minister and the SNP are bracing for a heavy defeat tomorrow, and depending on tactical voting and marginal seats going against them, they could fall to single figures of MPs. And dear heavens to Betsy, please let that happen. John Swinney could suffer a horror general election campaign and plunge to just 9 MPs in Scotland according to new polling analysis. The First Minister is already facing a decisive defeat to Scottish Labour north of the border, but the scale of this could cause July the 4th to become a nightmare. It could be Scotland's Independence Day, independent of the SNP, freed from those crooks and cronies. Get rid and live a better life. SNP Westminster leader Stephen Flynn insisted on TV on Tuesday morning that he still expects to win the election, and we covered that, and the man's mental. And so he can continue to push his breakup of the UK. But most polls put them behind Anna Sarwar's party, although there are a number of marginal knife-edge seats. And I do say to people considering voting reform, think again. Don't vote for reform just to punish the Tories. Vote for what will get the SNP out. If you're going to use that vote, use it constructively. Destroy the SNP. New analysis by pollster Mark McGeegan for the Centre of Constitutional Change gave a ceiling and doomsday scenario for the Nats based on all the polling so far north of the border. And if the SNP lose every tight constituency described as a toss-up, then it may be left with just 9 MPs, with tactical voting potentially key in this. 25% of Scots are voting tactically. Let's make it 50% and get rid. I mean, imagine they had no MPs at all. It's possible. 0 MPs. They'd fold overnight. They would be bankrupt within 24 hours. Even if they win all of these knife-edge marginals, they would still likely to be the second party in Scotland, as they'd be on 23, a drop from the highs of 49 in 2017. And Labour's worst-case scenario is 25. The best, the Tory would be doing was keeping it 6 seats, and at worst is a wipeout. The Tories are very hopeful, though, because of all the Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire area seats. They're saying as the only party supportive of oil and gas, they're likely to pick up seats there. They believe it. I see them being strong, obviously, in the northeast of that region. Elsewhere, not so much. Mr. McGeegan used various modelling approaches to come up with a table which predicted the general election results based on the polling done so far. He said toss-ups are seats with less than 65% of consensus on what party will win there. 6 of these are Labour SNP contests, 3 are SNP Conservative contests, and 1 is an SNP Labour Conservative contest. He said, considering this, we suggest the following range of outcomes. Now, it could be Labour could have a high of 36, number of seats 36, or a low of 25. They're predicting 32. The SNP could have a high of 23, but a low of 9. Predicting, though, 18. Let's make sure it's less than 18. Conservatives could have 6 or none, or anywhere in the range, of course. Lib Dems, they're only going to get 5. Basically, Lib Dems are set in stone. However, marginal cases are always dodgy. This is why you must vote, and you must vote tactically. Beat them, get them out, bankrupt them. He said it is of course possible that the final result might fall out with the range suggested above. One outline model may have the correct result after all, but again, this is unlikely. This set of aggregated models gives us a much cleaner range of possible outcomes without overstating the certainty of predictions. 18 seats are marginal toss-ups, accounting for nearly a third of the seats of Scotland. These seats are a difference between a narrow Labour win and a substantial Labour win and SNP collapse. So, whatever happens, not much hope there for the SNP. He pointed out that Labour is likely to lead the SNP by about 4.5 points, but due to the close nature of so many constituencies, means that this is not certain, and the election could be closer than that. And a warning for the Tories was also aired, as there's only one safe seat for them. David Mundell in Dumfriesshire, Clydesdale and Tweedale. Well, who'd have thought that one, eh? And, that's it. So, it's not good. It's not good for the SNP. But, people, please, make sure you vote. Absolutely. Do not miss this chance to punish this Chancellor and all his ilk. Thanks very much. I'm going to come up. We'll round off this video. Before I go any further, I just want to say 2 things. Number 1, I think my wife, who's been ill for the last few days, has been exceedingly generous. I can feel my own cold coming on. So I may sound a bit throaty at the moment, and I do apologise. It's entirely down to the very generous wife that I have, who thinks that what she has is mine. And now it seems that she's right. So I apologise for the sound if I sound any different. And yes, of course, haircut and shave and whatever. It was getting a bit wafty and a bit Margaret Rutherford, so I thought I'd take it off last night. Anyway, yes, bad news for the SNP. I would love to see them in single figures. I'd actually love to see them in 0 figures. That, of course, would be an ideal. That would be a wet dream, really, wouldn't it? But even single figures, they're screwed. They would lose so much money. It would be, well, I think it'd be terminal. If they lost that amount of money, it would indeed be absolutely terminal for them. They've got all those overheads that still need to be paid and nothing coming in. So, yeah, I think then the banks would start getting a bit itchy and want to foreclose on loans and things like that. So, yeah, it's just there. And, of course, they're going to have to start saving up because there'll be the Holyrood elections kicking off a year hence, really, the run-up to that. So, and on that subject, do go across to my other channel, David Coulter, Holyrood 2026. Click there and hit the link. Hit the link. I'll put the link below. Click there, subscribe, and we'll move on. Anyway, enough of this. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope this has been entertaining. I've got a busy day today, so this may be the last one in the studio. I might get back in later on, but things to do. So plenty of shorts on the phone. Till then, take care, goodbye, and I'll speak soon. Sayonara.